listening to the City Podcast. Unadulterated, non-politically correct, unfiltered, real talk. The city from the inside out. With your hosts, Chad Cranston and Steve Mealing.
This is the City Podcast. My name is Chad Cranston.
And I'm Steve Mealing, and we're at 99
Queen Street East,
which is known as the Carbon Bar.
Yeah, man.
Welcome, boys.
This week our guest is
Yannick Boudin. How do you pronounce your last name properly?
Try that one again. Bigourdin.
Bigourdin. It has to be done in French. Bigourdin.
It's easy. Just think bigger than.
Okay.
That's it. You'll never forget after that.
You've been using that your whole life, I bet.
Absolutely.
Bigourdin. I'm usually good at pronouncing French because I could speak it.
I hope you could pronounce it.
Yeah, without a
Bigourdin.
Yeah, no, you do have actually a good French accent.
Southern or northern, is that the summer? Bigourdin.
I'm from the south, so I have a very strong accent when I do speak French. Yeah.
So listen, there's so much to talk about, and I'm happy that you took the time out to come on board because your life is very busy. And since day one, since I've ever met you, you've been go, and you've been very successful at what you do. A lot of people might feel very lazy compared to you, Yannick, in the city. So, right off the bat, how does this all come about? What was your when you first moved to Toronto, or when you came here?
Yeah.
What was your concept? What was your idea? What were you thinking?
Well, first of all, when I moved to Toronto, I was working for the famous hotel chain Four Seasons, and at that time I was doing really well as a young manager and having a hell of a time working for one of the greatest hotel company in the world.
How old were you when you moved here?
I was, I believe, 24. 24 years of age. I just spent a few years in LA working for Four Seasons, and prior to that I was I did my hotel management BA in Switzerland. So I moved here to Toronto hoping that I'd find the mountains and that I'd be going skiing every weekend. And I think I should have listened a little bit better in my geography classes when I was younger, because I was shocked to see that even though I was in Canada, there were not too many mountains around us. Yeah. So that was the first I think shock, and then a huge cultural shock. I had to learn what hockey really meant and how great of a sport it is, and just trying to dive into that Canadian culture. So I moved here with Four Seasons and spent another 3 years with them, and I always had the inside that urge, that envy to just create something on my own, and we very, very lucky to have met the founder of Four Seasons, and I remember him one day doing a speech to all the employees here at the Toronto properties, and all he was saying, just go for the things you believe in, and I'm like, okay, well, you may have probably convinced me to leave the company, even though you're probably the most inspiring person I've met. You've actually convinced me that I should go on my own, and I did. So I met a crazy, intelligent, super trader called Mike Weckerle, who was now more of a media phenomenal. He was working at the time for a financial firm, and one day he called me and says, Yannick, do you want to buy a restaurant with me? He owned a few places already. And I said, sure, let's do it. So 24 hours later, and I'm not kidding.
24 hours?
Yeah.
This guy doesn't fuck around.
No, he called me, says, you got $100 grand? Let's do it. And of course I didn't have $100 grand, but you know what? I found $100 grand in 24 hours.
How old were you at this time?
I was 20, barely 26. Yeah.
Wow.
And
that's a big move.
I called pretty much everybody I knew, or people that still wanted to talk to me at the time. And we just dove in and we took over a restaurant and
which one was this?
It was Splendido.
Oh, Splendido. Okay.
Arbor and Spadina. It had been a great restaurant started by Franco Provedalo.
Yeah.
And the years towards when we bought it, I think they had some just some restructuring there. It wasn't really working as much as they had hoped for, so they looked for somebody to take it over. and we did that move and recreated basically the concept and renovated the restaurant, and again invested all the money I had, and my girlfriend at the time was today my wife, paid the rent for 6 months.
Wow.
That was we lived in a bachelor apartment right beside the Four Seasons, funny enough, and it was great times. We built up a strong foundation right there. So that's how I go to Toronto.
Right, and so they say it's the travels along the way that are way more enticing than the success of the story itself. Did you find that at that time, or you were hating living in the bachelor and you're like?
Yeah, I think that what's amazing about your life story, if you call it a story, you think that every small little steps are the end, but it's actually, as you said, it's just the process.
Yeah,
I think it's a process, and I have I think I don't know if we could qualify that as a sickness, but I just can't stay put. I'm just never happy to take things for granted, and even if I spend a quiet day at the cottage, you'll be surprised what I do in a quiet day.
I see a lot of your videos.
So if I don't get to do at least three sports activities and cooking pizza for 20 people and I don't know, manage to build something in a day, I feel like I haven't accomplished anything, and so I still. It probably is a sickness. I don't know, a condition. Let's call it a condition.
Marginalizing the tasks that you do. Everybody's their own individual. I think. I talked. I went to go see a therapist about this same thing you're talking about, because I didn't feel like every day I needed to achieve something.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel that if the day went by that it was a failure. And I had to get this thing out of my head, and I couldn't understand why I was thinking if I didn't succeed, it doesn't matter if my task got done, but one thing had to be built. And if I didn't build it, I felt failure.
I think my thought process on that is actually the fear of missing out. So for example, I wake up in the morning, it's sunny, it's 7 o'clock, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to work at 10 o'clock, but now I need to spend 3 hours outside. What am I going to do? So I'm going to try to jump on my bike, I'm going to try to then take my dogs for a walk, because otherwise I really feel like it was a wasted time. And so when we moved into our new house, a friend of ours in the TV business, whatever, they install all those very high-end home entertainment. He says, Yannick, I can't wait to put my hands on your house. I said, for what? He said, on the TVs. I said, well, what are you going to do? Because we don't have TVs. We just don't have TVs. But you got to be watching TV. I said, well, no, I watch a few Netflix when I'm on the treadmill when it's the winter. But then I don't need TV, so we have one TV in the basement, and nobody really watches it.
Not even the kids.
Just for I find it being a waste of time. And that's the way I am. I'm sure you could get some cultural information and news, etc. But I just can't justify watching TV for 2 hours.
Well, there's not much time left in the day if you're active on the internet alone with your computer.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time online between all the things we do, and
consuming, as we were talking about before, consuming.
Consuming, and I think the moment you're in front of your computer, I think your brain kind of stops everything, shuts down, and really focuses on that, and you lose a little bit track of what's going on around you. So
the dinosaur media is kind of gone now. Like the medium of actually sitting down and watching a television show through commercials is absurd.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
You know what I mean? Even on demand TV, just the whole concept. Everything is online now, and it just shoots across the room to your TV. So pretty much any downtime you have, you're active.
I try to be.
Or creating a new business.
I got to slow down on that because I think I've right now enough on my plate, and I just started a new thing. I'll talk to you a little about that on the side as a passion project. But anyways, it's just.
So you got Splendito up and running.
It's called KRV Collections. Am I correct? Is that or is there another one?
Yeah, that's the one. So Splendito was the first restaurant, and
you got her up and humming. How did it do on your end?
Yeah, we did amazing actually. We eventually got named best restaurant in Canada.
That's amazing.
That was a big deal, at such a young age, and to us really was really a training ground, and I think that's probably why we did so well, because every day was just like a science lab. How much can we push? How much can we improve what we do for our guests? And it was a really fun process. And we had no pressure because nobody knew where we were, and we just went crazy trying to do amazing, fun things. So that was a good one. I just learned so much. And then we started Nota Bene at Queen Anne University.
It's a pretty famous restaurant.
Yeah, you know, it's we started I think in 2008 when the world was close from collapsing. Wow. You know, the financial markets.
Was that your plan, or did that just happen?
God, no. My plan was definitely not to see the financial crash, the financial market crashing the month basically when we opened the restaurant. Yeah. That's really not what you want. Though I was kind of prepared for that. We opened Splendido September 11, 2001. We actually postponed the day after. So I think we had our emotional. We were already strong after. And we had lived Splendido through the SARS problem here in Toronto when nobody was going out to restaurants.
SARS, yeah.
So anyway, fast forward, 2008, and the big banks are going down, and here we are. We've invested quite a little bit of money, and we just didn't know. But for some reason, the concept was so. We were just a little bit ahead of the time because it was just so on point with the price point, the quality, the look, and I love to tell that story. It's not, I don't like to brag, but for 3.5 years we didn't have one empty table in the restaurant, and I'd like to say that I will open a restaurant that will perform that well. I'm just not sure. I hope I will, but I know it's going to be very, very hard to achieve.
So do you think that whole time, because when I first went to Nota Bene, probably 2010, I'm thinking maybe 2009 when I first went there.
Yeah, that makes sense,
extremely impressed with the service, the quality of service that you were getting, how everything was strategically planned out from when you entered, the greetings at the door, sitting down, the food, everything was above anything I've ever experienced in Toronto. So that's why I've always recommended Nota Bene. So I've always been curious about the service, because at that time I know that Cheryl worked at Nota Bene, and she'd come home and she'd be busted because everything had to be spick and span clean. And I'm like, how does this work? Like, how does one restaurant maintain this and all the other ones don't?
I don't think, first of all, that we're the only one. I think there are a lot of talented operators in the city. Some are bigger than we are, some are smaller than we are. But I think there's a lot of talent, and I think that I'll qualify as talented the people that actually don't give up when it's hard. And maintaining standards is actually something that requires a lot of attention, a lot of hard work, and a lot of headache, because you have to consistently go back after your team and say, guys, why didn't we perform? And let's try to go back and understand why we didn't perform. And so that's extremely draining. Sometimes it's just easier to one of your buddies at the bar and sit down with him and have a beer. Well, I never really was too complacent, nor were my partners at the time. And then we say Nota Bene was, but Nota Bene has sustained a very, very successful restaurant. My ex-partner David Lee has taken it over, and I think has maintained a wonderful quality there, and high standard. So and I think David and I were partners for almost 15 years, and I think that the end was that he was as motivated as I was to create something special and to work hard towards that same goal, and that's probably why we did so well and had a lot of fun doing it at the same time. So I would say that the consistency of not letting things go, just fighting every day for the right things, and that's, it's a great compliment. I think we sometimes forget how successful our restaurants until we close them. When we close Splendido, you cannot imagine the downpour of people coming to us and say, oh my God, we didn't really realize how much affection people could actually put into a restaurant, and now that I'm probably, taking the time to spend time with my family, we end up going back to the same places, why we love them, and eventually you put a little bit of yourself into the place, right? So I think it takes you sometimes to walk away from the place to realize it
and reflect on it, right?
And when I left Nota Bene, what, it was I didn't really realize it until I left it. It was a big empty space in me, because I'd worked so hard to make it a success and the place that it had become. So the moment you don't have it, you just need to realize actually what you had created and just be very happy that it's actually continuing in a great
you helped create
direction.
it, you helped build it.
That's right.
So when you moved on from that, did you take time out and just
No, because we had opened Carbon Bar in the meantime. So there was basically, no transition. And Carbon Bar was rocking already when we first opened. Yeah. So again, like a great concept, elevated, southern food. Unfortunately, people, qualified us as a barbecue place at once when we first started. But it was not really the concept. The concept was really elevated, southern cooking. Even though the barbecue occupies a big place of what we do. So we had to work with rebranding a little bit ourselves because we are a real restaurant, even though we call it the Carbon Bar. We wanted to have that adjective, the word bar in the title, just to make it a little bit more fun and a bit more inviting. But it was interesting, to build again another restaurant. And I must say that the biggest surprise about Carbon Bar has been that it has actually grown. We started really strong, but it's grown every year. And that's quite remarkable. Usually in the restaurant business, you see a big spike, people want to try you 18 months off, honeymoon period. People come, they love you, they'll come 6 times a month. It's actually 6. Sometimes you tell people, well, that's it, you're cut. Come back in 3 weeks, right? Because people get, they get excited. And that's amazing. The place is happening. You have all the people that matter and everybody's around. So usually after 18 months you see a little bit of a drop and Carbon Bar it hasn't happened yet. So
how long has it been open now?
Over 3 years, 3 and a bit.
So kind of around the same time this East End area started to boom. People started to move in. The Regent Park area cleaned up.
That's right. 10 years ago you'd say to people, I'm going to open a 6,500 square feet restaurant and spend over almost close to $2.5 million on Queen Street between Church and Jarvis.
We're going to turn the old Electric Circus space into a restaurant. What do you think?
That's basically So people thought that, but my business partner and more than a business partner today is more of a it's more like that uncle that everybody wished they had. Franco Provedello was open 30 I don't know 25 let's say just to round it up 25 restaurants in the city.
Franco's part of?
Pardon me?
That he's part of?
Franco, opened up.
25.
He's not operating any of those restaurants anymore. Beside the Carbon Bar, that's his last baby, if we can call it that way. But Franco knows about real estate, and I've learned a lot. And Franco knew how to. He basically taught me that you gotta scratch a little bit the surface to find those right location, and if you create something fun and people will come.
Absolutely.
And that's what we did with Carbon Bar. We really believed in that location.
It's an amazing space.
Thank you.
It's overwhelming. When I first walked in and turned the corner, I was just like, what the?
You gotta taste.
The Carbon Bar is very special. The meat platter is.
And that bourbon list.
Never mind. We have a bourbon trolley, so at any night, you'll see the one of the manager or the servers just taking that huge trolley with 60 or 70 bourbons on them and go around the table and say, well, this is what we do. This is our tradition here, and people dig in and try bourbons, and the connoisseur they go with things that they either love or they try new things, and the people that haven't been introduced to bourbons have a fair chance to do that. And then that meat platter. The meat platter is famous. When we first opened the restaurant, I was terrified. I said to David, I said, I'm really worried that we're gonna have no women in this restaurant. It's heavy, it's beef brisket, it's where are the poke and the ceviche and we're gonna be in trouble. And so we actually created a menu with that in mind. So we added a lot of different things that we thought would be geared toward more of a feminine clientele and
clearly it works.
And I'm going to tell you 65% of what we serve at the restaurant is that meat platter. And you know what, I would actually Love to probably go back and get some data on that, but ladies love barbecue. Yeah. And that is, as of today, I'd like to say every time we talk about it, the greatest not surprise, but the greatest, prove me wrong story, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's great food. It's sometimes you have preconceived ideas about who would like the food better than others, but it seems that barbecue is just everybody's food,
Especially up here. Well, we're seasonal, right? As Canadians, we have that 3 months, 4 months maybe where we can roll the barbecue out, put on a sweater.
I get mine 8 months out of the year.
And we hold it out there as long as we can, even if we're in a winter coat.
Yep.
Canada and barbecue go together.
Yeah. So it kind of makes sense that people would go crazy for it, and especially if it's done well. Because it is a lot of work. I have smoked a lot of meat with friends of mine before. And it's a lot of effort, actually.
You know what?
It took us a whole day to do a brisket. And Brady and I from Blood Brothers.
Right.
That's what you should take you.
It took us a whole day. And you know what we did? We cut it up, called our friends over, and we all ate it. It was gone within like 15 minutes.
And it's the smoking process. And I remember when we looked into the concept, and we've very, very early on realized that doing a 6-course or 7-course tasting menu was hard, but go and try to do a perfect brisket. It might be harder.
Yeah.
You know what? You can't fake that process. It's 6 or 7 hours in the smoker. You have to use the right wood. You have to use the right temperature, and then the humidity changes, and then the beef that comes in is probably leaner or fattier, and it's a day-to-day challenge. But our chef Heather Zoomer has been amazing, and right up there, his barbecue is as good as any. We have people traveling from Nashville and from places that are again, the other night we had a group 20 guys, and they were here on a conference, and they said, well, we're from Texas, we're from Nashville, we're from there.
Cool.
And the boys wanted to meet the chef and say, oh my god, it was really
do you
something.
Do any like food truck stuff in the summer, or for events even?
You know what, we never really, we've done a few events, but again, I think that one thing that has been always part of our DNA is do things that you can manage, and that you can offer something that's amazing. So we did something over the summer. There was in front of Union Station a great summer market. But beside that, we don't really go out. But the setup there was great, and we were able to do something that we felt very comfortable about.
It was conducive to what you got, the product you guys could put out.
Yeah, and again, if we would decide to do one day a food truck or whatever it might be, we'll put the right resources into it.
More for special event food truck versus driving around the city selling.
Yeah, that's very tough. Yeah,
so I know if I'm at a festival and a Carbon Bar food truck shows up, I'm lining up if it takes an hour. I don't care.
Sure. Yeah, we'll talk. I'm sure about the other restaurant concept we just opened called Union Chicken, but we are actually very, very serious about creating a food truck for that. So anyway, that's about the Carbon Bar, and it's rocking, and I absolutely love it, and it's my kid's favorite restaurant. So I'm very proud of that. Yeah, I'm very proud of that.
Kids and barbecue. Perfect.
Yeah, that works really, really well.
Get to eat messy as well.
That's right. That's right.
So Union, you have Carbon open, and you decided I'm going to do one more. I got something to talk about.
Well, it's actually a little bit of a more like the story is a little bit more complicated than that. The way it happened, Union Chicken was it's first of all, it's been a very long time in the making, but. The way Union Chicken was brought in, I need to backtrack a little bit and talk about my involvements with loading the men's shoe business. Mm-hmm. So I've been shopping at those stores in France called Loading. And they're specialized in shoes, shirts, ties, and accessories, belts. All leather goods, absolutely amazing product. Very small store, very targeted, right? The opposite of what you see really in North America, where you have those big, huge, gigantic stores. Loading is really a very, a very unique and catered experience.
So it's like a focused boutique environment.
Yeah, and very well priced, and their tagline is luxury at one price, because all the shoes are priced the same. Here in Canada, we price at about $375. But for me, as a young professional, when I worked with Four Seasons, where I was in the restaurants, I always had to dress well. You present, so you put so much into the envelope of everything. The wrapping, the wrapping paper that you put in your restaurants, that everything's perfect. You as a maître d', or you need to also present well and be in sync with the product that you're trying to offer. And so I always enjoyed, getting a nicely cut suit. Not always tailored, because that's a lot of money. Yeah. But I am sometimes on a splurge. But I always made sure that the suit was cut. So I would get a nice suit, but always make sure that I would get the extra time into it and to tailor it. So it was nice. I always loved shoes, and I realized very, very early on that in North America, if you wanted a nice pair of shoes, it was $700-800, yep. And all the usual suspects. And I stumbled upon Loading once, traveling back to France, and I bought 3 or 4 pairs on the spot because the price was right. And I said, I might as well buy 3 or 4 pairs, and when I'll be back next year, if I like it, I'll buy more. And that's exactly what happened for 15 years. Where I'd go back to France, and my wife would drop me at the store, 45 minutes, and the clock watch was ticking, 45 minutes, and I would get my 4 pairs of shoes, few belts, and we would move on. And I didn't have to worry about shoes for 12 or 18 months, whatever it was. And I fell in love with the concept so much that, my entrepreneurial, I think, little switch, thing, the switch, thank you, turned on, and I said, I gotta bring that here. I mean, come on. Yeah. 50 stores in France. What are we doing?
It's a French company.
Yeah, it's a French company. So I didn't really, I'm not one of those French people that say France is so much better, whatever. I'd left.
Well, you got Lacoste and the Lacoste Sportif.
Yeah, but I was never really like that type of French,
sporty?
No, just too much into going back to talking about the old country, rather, I'm part of the new wave. We travel, we still love France for what it is, but so Loading really got me the opportunity to go back closer to my culture, and go back closer to my friends, because now I had to go to Paris and visit Loading there, and so all of a sudden I'm connected again. I'm connected again to a life that I left behind. So we brought Loading, brought the first store. And that's where I wasn't sure, to be honest with you, what I would do with it first. Maybe open one store and see what happens. And I met some great partners that wanted to help me out. As we discussed the opportunity to do that together, we decided, well, if we're going to do that, let's see if we can get the rights for Canada. So I said, okay, no problem, let's go on a plane, and we're going to have fun anyway. I'll take you around Paris, so it's going to be awesome. And we came back with the rights for Canada, but the rights for the States as well. Yeah. So all North America. So it was, kind of like, okay, now
let's get to work.
Well, yeah, it's not a romantic idea anymore. It's real. It's real. We can touch it. So we've now opened 3 stores. We have one at Avenue Road, Avenue in Davenport.
Avendave.
Yeah, Avendave. Easy address to remember. Yeah. Well, I used to say to all my buddies in the business, just right across from Soto Soto. So famous restaurant, great food, great. So everybody knew it. So I hope I didn't use the name of Soto Soto too much. I don't think they'd be too upset about that. But it was the reference point right across from Soto Soto, and so that worked out for me. The first one was a success. So we've opened then First Canadian Place, so right in the heart of the financial business.
Perfect price point as well.
Perfect. Yeah, I think the offering is really what people were looking for. So and we had to educate people on the product and why.
You're dying as well, right?
Yeah. So that's another business that we created as a. But let me finish the Loading thing so I can talk about Union Chicken, because that's I'm trying to connect the dots here.
I love it.
So and then we opened at Sherway Garden. And our next location will be at Union Station. Small boutique there. It should be actually pretty killer.
On the move,
Yeah. So my partners, looked at me and says, "Well, Yannick, now we trusted you in the shoe business, and you have absolutely no experience in that whatsoever. so now,
let's see if we can find this golden horseshoe up your arse.
Why don't we try to find something that gives us credibility back? Because the shoe business, you had no experience, and we believed in you. So why don't you look at doing something in the restaurant business?" And I said, "Well, restaurant business, I know what to do. I know what to do. We'd spoken about chicken a lot, and I grew up in a family. We had a rotisserie business in France. So typical village in the south of France. You have your butcher, your baker, the church, and the newsstand, and we had a delicatessen business, right? So just think about a Poussatieri or a McEwen's, food, but just you divide it by about 100. So a very small place, But on a Sunday morning, and I kid you not, we would sell 400 roasted chicken. So we had the rotisserie outside, right on the sidewalk, and people would line up.
That's your Sunday dinner.
And my only requirement when I was going through school as a young kid was that every Sunday morning I had to be at the store at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I would man the cash register, and there we go. And we would it was crazy. So my parents were hardworking people, but they did really well and sent me to do all the things that I did, education wise, etc. on those bloody chicken. So I knew that the chicken business was
lucrative.
Well, a good one, but something I was very compelled to go back into. So we talked quite a bit about concept, and I said, guys, rotisserie chicken, and so my partners were really keen on and supported that, and so we started working on that, and here is Union Chicken. So we've opened our first location at Sherway Garden. And I'm extremely lucky because I'm surrounded with great people. Adam Teolis, who was our GM here at the Carbon Bar, he was a manager at Nota Bene. He's now a partner in the business. We have Mike Angeloni, who was a kid that I met when he was actually 18 years old. He worked at Splendido with us. He worked at Splendido in the early days of Splendido, man. It was quite a feat.
He made it through the other end.
Yeah, he stayed with us, I think 3 or 4 years. He became the pastry chef.
Wow.
So anyway, and then he had a great career after that. He was the chef at L'Unità, and then he looked after the Grand Electric group there. He was the chef for all their restaurants, and did very well, and came back to me and says, "Yannick, if you ever have anything," and I said, "For sure, for talent we always have a place," and him and Adam were great buddies, so the match was awesome, and then I brought in actually a guy that had a little bit more experience in opening multi-restaurants. His name is Dan Kennedy. Came from various brands, and so we put a team that's going to allow us, I think, to see some growth and take the concept to.
You look to franchise it? Is that
no, I don't think we. No, I don't think the goal is to franchise it. Never say never, because you never know who's going to knock at your door. But right now we have 5 locations planned. So our first one just opened. The next one to be open will be at Union Station in the fall, late fall.
Yeah. Money going in there too, right? The Union Station.
Oh, Union Station is going to be. I'm telling you. I will open as many businesses as they let me there. Honestly, I'll go in the. I don't know if you have a business idea, you come. We go in there. It is. I'm telling you, Union Station is going to change the center of the city. If you actually realize what's going to happen there, there's going to be grocery stores. There's going to be a liquor store. I think LCBO. Don't quote me, but I think they're talking anyway. There's going to be over 110 retail stores at Union Station.
Relevant ones at that.
Well, absolutely, and I think they have a great mandate to find great tenants, and There's going to be restaurants. There's going to be a seafood restaurant. There's going to be, of course, Union Chicken.
Union Station Chicken.
Well, that's how the name came up.
That's what I figured as well.
Union Chicken was supposed to be opening at the first one at the station.
Yeah.
But,
so what is Sure Way? Is that a standalone restaurant or is it the food court?
No, it's actually a standalone. So it's attached to the mall, but we don't have an entrance right from the mall. So it's in the southern part of the mall. And Sure Way is a great magnet, attracts the right people. So, a great mall.
Good luck with shopping at that.
Yeah.
Olds has a pretty good collection up there as well.
Olds is actually closed there. Yeah, they moved. Yeah, they moved. But they're bringing Nordstrom. They have Sherway Gardens. They have Saks Fifth Avenue. Pusatiri open there. Joey's open there. The Keg. No, it's
Joey's is
they're doing a great job.
Rolling through the city between that and local.
You know what? If you want to look at a restaurant chain that has, I don't know, over 150 locations now.
Joyce.
Well, they started
and that does an amazing job. You got to look at those guys there.
It's like the son and the father, I think, or something like that. My ex-girlfriend helped open the Joey's in Yorkdale.
Okay.
And she told me all about local. Randy, you remember her? And she said something about local before it really actually came to fruition in Liberty Village.
Yeah.
And the guys it seemed like it was a pretty ragtag kind of environment. They were like tight and in tune with what's happening, and they found the right spot because as soon as they opened the doors at Locals, they started draining across the street from them.
Yeah, really.
Was it Locals or Williams Landing?
No.
The same guy?
No, totally different company.
Basically a brew,
she worked for all of them,
beer, type of concept, but they've done really well there.
Even those guys sold, I think, to Cara.
Yes, so we've opened our first location at Sherway Garden. It's going great, and we can't wait to put our hands on that baby at.
I might go there on Saturday to check it out now.
Yeah, you should, man. Our fried chicken there is pretty sick. You gotta ask. We have a couple of mystery items, so you make sure that you.
You have to write the secret handshake.
Well, if you blink a few times to the chef, I think he'll understand what you mean. I think.
So Yannick told me.
That's it.
There we go.
But we have a Korean fried chicken there. That's pretty killer. Yeah. So as we were developing Union Chicken, the discussion started. Michael Angeloni, the chef and the partner, was obviously of Italian heritage, and we always talked about. I say we always talked about that. My brain and I always talked about a fresh pasta concept. And when Michael and Adam and Dan and I started talking, said, well, would you be interested in creating something like that? And Adam and Michael said, well, actually, we've been thinking about an Italian concept for a long time. And so we came up with a new concept. It's going to be called a mano pastificio. So I do apologize.
How do you say that again?
A mano pastificio.
A mano pastificio.
So it's the pasta factory, basically. So we're only serving pasta. We're not planning on doing pizza or any other Italian dishes besides fresh pasta. And that's what we're going to be focusing on. And
do you have love for Italian?
I could eat pasta absolutely every day. And listen, this is a Frenchman talking to you.
Yeah.
I could eat it every day. My favorite dish in the whole world is vitello tonato.
Oh, Jesus, what the hell is that?
It's roasted veal, right? So roasted veal that you cool down, put aside, and then you slice very, very, very tiny, very thin. Thank you. Yeah. And then you put it on the plate, and you put that sauce that's a base of white wine. Okay, now I'm back to my to my cooking recipes. Tuna, of course.
Tuna.
I would never have guessed tuna.
White wine. Onions.
Scallops.
No. Capers. I'm forgetting something very important here.
Garlic?
No, capers for sure.
Truffle oil.
You know what? I haven't made it in a long time, but I do apologize for Italian listeners. I know the recipe of the vitello tonato. But anyway,
can you tweet out the recipe so if people actually want to find it?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That'd be awesome.
Get some interaction as well, maybe through what's your Instagram like?
Well, I got
your personal one.
Let's Instagram that on the Carbon Bar.
Okay, there you go. People can find out the Carbon Bar Instagram.
At the Carbon Bar. At the Carbon Bar.
Written in.
We have a sous chef Gabe who's from Italy, so I'm sure he'll be able to.
Is it a classic dish?
Vitello Tornato, yes, it is. Yeah. So anyways, I love Italian food. I absolutely love.
You're salivating.
Yeah. I could have a bowl of pasta right now, like a nice carbonara, you know. Yeah.
So good. So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a little deep on this. So like, there's a couple of years ago, I hadn't seen you in a bit, all right, and you pushed this really fast. So I was like, so how are things going? And he goes, oh yeah, I just had a brain tumor. I got out of the hospital, and everything's good now. And then you went on with your way. And I'm like, hold on, that's pretty massive thing to happen to somebody, just pass off like it's just a scratch on your back. It's not. So, but I understand. So my thing now that I want to ask you about is like, you've taken some time out, and I see that I follow you very closely on Instagram and Facebook, and I see the kids doing a lot of stuff, and you as well.
Yeah.
So there's a time period where you're working a lot, and then now you've actually changed, well actually probably about the same time that you sold Nota Bene or whatever have you, and then now spending a lot more time inside of Carbon, loading the new restaurants, as well as your kids and family. I see a lot of family integration where I didn't see that before. Was it because of that?
Yeah, I think I try to be more intelligent about the way I spend work time, and sometimes you feel guilty because you're not spending the hours somewhere. Especially in the restaurant business, you have that guilt, and that's why you see, some restaurant owners, they're 24 hours a day. I grew up in a family where, I didn't have the chance to have, I actually never had lunch with my parents. People don't believe that. I never had breakfast, never mind. I never had breakfast with my parents. Right?
Did you have a dinner? It was specific, or was
well, then dinner was rushed, unless, their business was closed, but it didn't really happen that much, right? So I'm trying to spend time more intelligently, and so about 4 years ago, I can't remember the date now, but I think it was in 2012, 13. I was doing some skeet shooting, and my buddies that I do that with were teasing me because I was missing everything, and not that I'm an Olympic shooter, but I can shoot, skeets, and I do that.
Have you been doing that since you were a kid?
I always shot guns, but my dad was a hunter, so.
Do you do peasant hunting and stuff?
Oh yeah, I love bird hunting, especially duck, So I do quite a bit of hunting. We can talk about that too. So anyway, so Sunday afternoon I come back home, and it was just, I remember it was in April because we just come back from March break. Where we had been back home in France, and we'd done a little bit of skiing, and I said to my wife, I said, Chris, why did you start the fireplace? I love to start the fireplace. It's one thing I don't know why, I just love starting the fireplace. She said, Yannick, the fireplace isn't started. I said, where's the smoke coming from then? And my wife looks at me and says, Yannick, there's no smoke in the room. What are you talking about? So I said, whoa, that's kind of weird, actually, right? So, I missed all those targets. I didn't really connected the 2 points together, but I emailed my doctor, and I said, hey, Dr. G, I need to see you because I think something is wrong with my vision. So it was a Sunday night, very, very fortunate that he's a personal friend. So he called me, he emailed me back and says, I'm traveling right now, but if your vision is bad, you need to see an eye doctor, not me. So first, go and talk to that person, and then we'll regroup and see what happened. So anyway, a couple of days after, I'm seeing that Dr. Mike Rolls. He's just at Avenue and Bloor and Avenue. And so Dr. Mike made the test 3 times. So I was there 3.5 hours. And he looked at me and says, well, Yannick, I think that I'm not going to be able to help you because your eye is very healthy and you should be able to see normally. On the other hand, I see something under the optic nerve that's being, something is going wrong with the optic nerve, and you have no peripheral vision right now, and you may see smoke. I said, yeah, I do see smoke. And he says the peripheral vision is going to be very bad for you, and hence, me missing all those targets, right, while I was shooting.
Let alone driving.
Yeah, so he says, the first thing I'd recommend you go and do an MRI, and let's find out what's going on your optic nerve. So I did do my MRI and woke up probably at 3 o'clock in the morning. And
The worst. The worst.
I know.
That's right. For 45
awesome.
And it's an MRI of your head, right? So you're right in there. So,
You're claustrophobic in those things.
yeah, you tend to just not want to be there for all the right reasons.
Yeah.
And so when the results came out, the doc called me and he says, "Are you at Carbon Bar right now?" I said, "Well, as a matter of fact, I am." He said, "Well, why don't I come down and see you?" And I said, "Well, unless you're coming down for lunch, why would you come down to see me?" And he says, "Yannick, it's bad. I want to talk to you personally." I said, No, Dr. G, you don't let me hanging like that. You tell me right now what's bad, and then you come and see me if you feel like." He says, "Well, you have a tumor the size of a golf ball pressing on your optic nerve, and then it's basically we need to talk about that." So anyway, so my legs went really flimsy and like almost like so I went to my office and I took 15 minutes for myself, and I said, "That's okay, whatever's going to happen is happening, so there's nothing we can do." And believe it or not, I went back on the floor, finished the lunch service, and pretended like nothing was happening. And then Dr. G came in and explained me, "Well, this is what it is. It's a condition. It's not. Chances are you're not going to die about that. From that, but we're going to have to remove it, and we got to do it very fast because it's pressing on your optic nerve, and then in a few months you could be blind."
Fuck that.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he left. I was a little bit shaken, but I managed to stay at work. I just didn't want to go home and
Tell your wife.
And then my wife and my kids and so a lot of things go through your mind, and not all the best thoughts, right? As you can imagine, and went home and had
the stress from
a chat with my wife and say, "Well, Chris, you might want to sit down." And told her, "Well, I have a tumor on my why can't I remember the name of that bloody thing now? On my it's gonna come back to me." And so we had that discussion, and of course she was really shaken, probably more than I was. I think when things happen to you, you tend to be a little bit more stoic, and right? And I think you freak out a little bit more when it happens to people that you love, because you have no control. When it's on you, you feel that you have a certain
make the decisions.
amount of control, right? Even though you might have no control, it's probably just an illusion. But and we worked through it, and I got a surgery a couple of weeks after. You know what? We complain often about the healthcare system in Ontario, but we should be very, very pleased because it worked really, really, really well for me. And they removed that golf ball that I had. There wasn't cancerous.
Spine there now?
It felt lighter. Yeah, it felt lighter. But and so anyway, after the whole ordeal, I was home recovering. I spent a few weeks at home, just trying to get better. And I said to my wife, "I'm going to take the time now. I'm not going to work as hard." And you know what? A month after, I did the exact opposite. I felt like I was 15 years younger, because that tumor was actually affecting my testosterone level, my hormones, my pituitary gland. Thank you.
Yeah.
So the tumor was right on the pituitary gland. And so anyway, so after that, I was on fire. And your brain is working again. You're not forgetting anything anymore. You're happy. You're love the people around you. It's all I was.
You're re-energized.
You're re-energized. You feel like $1 million, right? So sometimes you don't know something is affecting you so badly. So anyway, so here I am, 4 or 5 years after. I didn't slow down. I actually accelerated like exponentially, and I'm feeling amazing.
Bike marathons. Did you do the marathon after?
No. So one problem, another problem that I have, I get passionate about things so fast, and And I finally realized it's actually great. I used to feel bad when I would get into something for 2 years,
Just dive
go
in head
full
first,
on,
yeah.
and then let it go. And I was like, I don't like quitting, but you know what? Actually, it is the greatest gift that you can have in life. That every couple of years you get passionate about something different,
Right.
because you get to do so many things and learn so many skills that you have or don't have and need to work on.
So you got skeet shooting, you got marathons. Aside from
Water
marathons.
skiing.
Yeah, I never really ran a marathon, but I was in triathlons and half Ironman, and I never really, when I started doing triathlons, I never biked, swam, or run. So
it was just well,
so it was kind of,
it's like
you
Dick
know,
Providence. He's like does
Yeah,
exact same thing. He's like 100% in.
yeah. So I started that, but today, you know, like I do a lot of things. I play ping pong, I play tennis, and ping pong is an incredible sport that will really amaze you, and how physical it is, and the power that you need in your legs actually to be a good ping pong player is amazing. So I play tennis, I water ski. I'm the worst water skier in the family. I'll keep that honor. What else? I downhill ski quite a bit. Yeah, I grew up in the Pyrenees, beautiful mountains. So I ski shoot. You know what? I'm busy. I love it. I just love doing new things. And what excites me, I think, the most about all of that is actually researching the gear. And you know, I play golf too, so you know, it's always like, what is the gear?
Like on all angles.
So I love that
too.
Yeah.
When he comes with a product, like for all this right here, this was days of research before. Like I'll say, Steve, this is what we need. It's like, okay, give me a couple of days. List of everything that's going on with every little, like the pros and cons, videos, all that. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's super exciting to learn about new technologies
100%.
and then.
You feel alive too when you make the purchase. You're just, yes,
that's right. That's right.
I did the fuck. I outsmarted all the marketing.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So it's part, I think, of just being a very excitable. Can you say that? Excitable person?
Yeah.
Is that an adjective? Yeah. Well, it is now. It is now.
Yeah.
It is now. That's just the way I'm wired up. I need to get excited.
Hey, do you know Jean-Claude Van Damme?
I do know Jean-Claude Van Damme. I actually met him.
What's going on here?
Oh, yeah.
What's going on here? This is going to be a story.
Now we're going back into the vault there. I'm not even sure I'm allowed to go there.
You are.
Before Bloodsport, you knew?
Okay, so here a quick story.
It's just connected.
You
looked at me some weird way. Jean-Claude Van Damme.
When I lived in LA, I was young and fearless and just always looking for new adventures and was having a very, very fun time. Worked hard but played very hard.
You have to.
And on Sunset Boulevard there was a place called the Café Maurice, and there was a French guy from Paris that had started that great restaurant. The food wasn't good, the service wasn't good, but what he had going for him is that at about 10 or 10:30, he'll tell everybody, whatever you had, whether you had finished your dinner or not, he didn't care. He'll say, now you all stand up, move the tables, and the party starts. Right?
I like this guy.
And that's what the Café Maurice was. And all the francophones that lived in LA, and there, I think at the time there was about 60,000 people that were registered in LA as French residents, or French. What do you say? French Americans. So there's a very vibrant French community there. So, or the francophone, not just French, but the people that spoke French. And there was a party there, and you felt like you were honestly somewhere in Paris in one of those crazy bars, and he would put all the right music, like, you know, the Gypsy Kings, and everybody would go and dance on the tables. And that's where Jean-Claude Van Damme would go in LA, and I'm sure if you ever run into him, you say, did you ever go to the Café Maurice in Los Angeles on Sunset Boulevard? He said, absolutely.
I used to live there, man.
So I did shots with Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's quite a magnetizing character. So anyway, why were we talking about Jean-Claude Van Damme? Anyway,
I don't know how this came up. So random.
Thinking about my younger days.
Youth, you're still young. How old are you now?
I'm 43. 43. Yeah.
So you're still very
So
young.
we talked
Very
about
young.
20 years ago. I guess.
Yeah.
I guess it's a long time. I
Not
guess.
that long, 20
Yeah.
years.
No, well, it doesn't feel that long.
And you know what? That's a full clothing recycle period as well.
Is it 20 years?
For a
Yeah.
trend to come back
Very
for 20.
Yeah. Okay.
That
There
was
we go. I
nice.
didn't
Remember
know
what you
that.
were wearing back then?
Yeah.
Look for the kids wearing it now.
Yeah, maybe I should go back to my old pictures.
Yeah.
We'll see what
Yeah.
Jean-Claude was wearing.
Throwback Thursday. There
Yeah,
you
that's
go.
it. There we
So
go.
now we're talking a little bit more fashion. You're doing Carve. Or it's
Oh,
KRV.
okay.
Is it Carve or KRV?
Well, you are a fashionable. You're a very fashionable.
Thank you.
gentleman.
Thank you very much. I
You
don't
got
know.
nominated top fashion guy with Toronto Life 2 years ago.
No, that was Emmanuel, the artist.
Emmanuel,
Emmanuel
right,
Faré,
right,
yeah.
right.
From Maison
Maison
Patina,
Patina, yeah,
which
yeah.
we can touch upon
Okay,
a little bit later. Yeah, so Carve Collective is actually not a business as the other businesses. It's a passion project. I'm involved in water skiing through my kids. My wife is a great water skier as well, and my kids are competing at a high level.
Very high level.
And they're just love it. They're 10 and 11, and we just dig in it. Water skiing is an incredible sport, and they do the 3 events, which is slalom skiing and jump skiing, and trick skiing. So slalom is all about how many buoys you can do with the shortest rope. So
That's intense.
really challenging, very fast, 20 seconds effort, just like very technical, and some huge wipeouts. So it's not it's a tough sport.
And how old are your kids?
10 and 12.
So they can rebound. They can skip across the water at 100.
Well, to give you an idea, they're skiing in slalom at 55 kilometers per hour. So the boat
So
goes
it's
at
like
55k. So as you're cutting, the acceleration is probably
you're cutting in,
60,
bounce out.
70. I don't know, but probably 70 at the highest speed. So when you fall at 70, and there's a ski involved, so that could come back to you. So it's you need to have your you need
Wits
to be
about you, for sure.
There's no.
At the same time, they bounce up pretty quick.
Yeah, that's true. They're young, so if I would fall the way they do, I don't think I'll be going to work on Monday morning. And then they're jumping, so that's another level of craziness. The ramp is 5.5 foot high. It's that.
Wait till they're
huge-
16 and they're trying to put cars out in the lake to jump and stuff.
And I will never take that ramp. I'm telling you, I've done some crazy stuff. I skied in Alaska. I've done some crazy stuff. But I will never take that ramp. It's way too intimidating. And I see those 2 little guys, jumping. That like recently we're in Florida. We were very fortunate to train with the world champion, who's Canadian, Ryan Dodd, and that guy jumps at 240 feet. Right? And so when you see that from the boat, you really realize how bloody dangerous that could be, right? But they're professionals and they train. It's a 6 hours, 7 hours training regiment every day. So when you see your little guys jumping every day a little bit further, you're kind of like, whoa, what did I do here? Are they really going to go for a big jump one day? And so, but so exhilarating. And then the trick skiing is all about the jump.
Those are the short skis
the loops,
as well, right?
That's right. Very short ski and very tough. It's like being on a bar of soap. It's very, very tricky. I've tried that and I won't even try it again. So that's what we're doing, and for me to give back to that community, which is an incredible community, the best way, I do very bad in committees and boards, and I'm just a go-getter. Like I don't really
You want something to happen, you make it happen, right?
So I thought that the best way for me to give back to that community was to create an opportunity, and that opportunity was to create a line of clothing called Carve Collective. So it's spelled KRV, but we pronounce it Carve as the carving, and it's a collective because we want the athletes and the communities to really get on board and get benefits from that. So we're launching actually our website either tonight or tomorrow. That's how close we are.
We'll have to put a link in that description.
CarveCollective.com and really this.
Give me about 15 links.
I know.
Got any more businesses up your sleeve?
He does.
No.
Okay, we won't get into
that. No, we'll talk about Maison Patina though, but
okay.
So Carve Collective is really meant for, if we have a profit, it's going to be put back into the community.
So sponsorship and
absolutely.
Maintenance in the area. Where are you located up in the cottage area? Are you in Gravenhurst?
We're in Perry Sound actually.
Oh, Perry
Sound.
Yeah, near Perry Sound.
Perry Sound.
About 30 minutes on an inland lake, which is an amazing lake. It's called Whitestone Lake, and a great lake for water skiing. My wife's family had a cottage there for 40 years, so
she's Canadian then?
My wife is absolutely Canadian, 100% Canadian,
Nothing like it.
I did well, really well. I'm not sure she did so well marrying me, but I did very well.
As long as you convinced her to marry us.
I had good arguments, I guess. We're really trying to create something cool, and actually that gentleman I was mentioning, Ryan Dodd, was the world champion. We created a line for him called Ski or Die. So the athletes are really supporting the efforts and are getting a direct benefit from that. So really cool hoodies, and
they can get out back.
And for me, what I get out of that, first of all, is knowing that I'm helping a great group of guys, and actually now it's extending to wakeboarding and wake surfing and kite surfing. A lot of people are contacting me since we've started our Instagram, and so I think it's going to take a life on its own.
Good.
And also what I really get out of it is actually I'm learning something that I had no idea about. All of a sudden you're emailing with China, you're emailing with,
for the manufacturing.
Well, the manufacturing, and I really did I'm going to say 99% of the sourcing all myself. So I do that on Sunday morning. That's my Sunday morning,
as long as you don't end up on Alibaba, you're all right.
Alibaba. Alibaba is a drug, first of all.
What's that?
They should have something like, it's a drug. Like if you get into it, you go absolutely crazy on that.
Well, you gotta learn how to read whatever language.
To Mandarin?
Yeah, there's everything there.
Because
the amount of
so much fake stuff's on there, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, but there's also some very good suppliers there.
For sure.
So that's what I get out of Carve Collective, and whether it's a company that's going to exist for a year, for 10 years, I have really no idea, and it's something that my kids are embracing, and that my wife is actually really behind, and because she's so passionate about the water skiing. So that's our family discussion. I never ever talk about the restaurants or loading at home. We never do.
So is your wife?
Once you go for that door, you don't.
Yeah, no, it's you know what, it's unless I want to talk about, and want to ask my wife her advice or opinion on something, she'll never ask me, how's Carbon Bar today? It's something we keep.
So as soon as you go through that front door, it's family.
Yeah, absolutely. We never talk business.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Honestly, and actually, people, when family members come, it's Christmas. What are the restaurants doing? And the most is doing great. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Yeah. Or
and if people,
milestone.
It's hard to otherwise, to just have the two lives you need to have, right? And I'm so involved with my businesses that when I talk to my wife, I just don't want to talk to her about my problems. We want to talk about the good things around us, or the family problems. Our two kids growing up, and starting having girlfriends, and that's what I want to talk about. That's what I'm excited.
I was visualizing your son at 16 trying to jump over like something he definitely shouldn't be in a row of girls that he's trying to impress.
Yeah, well, my 10-year-old,
a boathouse. What's this ramp for?
Yeah, my 10-year-old has a girlfriend, and they've been together for a month already, so I don't know about that.
If he's anything like you, that could be trouble.
I don't know. Yeah, where have you heard that? Who have you been talking? No, there's no more trouble in my life. It's all good.
Have you taken your family back to France?
We do very little right now because of the water skiing. Really, water skiing has taken really every time that we have off, long weekend, whatever. We really.
You guys just had that crazy election in France as well, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. That was scary.
It was something that was really close, and then all of a sudden it was 90% of the votes.
Yeah, the first round is always tricky in France because you had I think 8 or 10 or 9. 12 people. It's almost like the primaries, really. That more of a
qualifying round.
Yeah, the qualifying round. That's right, the qualifiers. And as long as you get 500 signatures from the mayors in France, you get to go there, and a few other things, I'm sure. So it's very the first round is really finding out where the two leaders are. And this year, it's very tricky because the extremist, the right wing.
Macron,
Marine Le Pen and Macron was more, the center guy. So center, I could do center all day, right?
One's EU eccentric, and the other's anti-EU, right?
One was absolutely. So Macron was definitely in favor of keeping the EU, and Marine Le Pen, amongst all the crazy agenda that she might have had. So everybody was a little bit worried, but I read something amazing in Vanity Fair yesterday about why French people were able to not let Marine Le Pen win, and it's actually pretty cool.
Did it have good insight or?
No. but I think that common sense prevailed. And I was proud to be French, and that racism and just you can't live alone nowadays. You have to realize that regardless of how our countries and nations were created. It's evolving. It's an ever evolving, and maybe we're naive in thinking that everybody understands that. But I think there's an incredible lack of education, and in communities that we don't talk enough about, and sometimes we just assume that everybody has a sense of common sense, and I'm not saying you're right, you're wrong. I'm just trying to use the common sense. In the common sense, if you look at history, that nations are evolving, and they're evolving with the type of people that eventually arrive onto that land, and we move on from there. And the 100 years ago, the immigrants of 100 years ago are the DNA of the nation of today.
Well, how long have you been in Canada now in full?
1998, actually.
So almost
30 years?
No, 20.
15, 16, whatever, I've been talking a lot. I can do math when I'm talking.
17 plus 2 years.
So
it's
19 years.
Actually, the way I became a Canadian citizen is a very profound story for me. So here we go. I gotta tell you that. So
you're proud to be Canadian as well.
I am extremely proud to be Canadian.
We're very proud
proud to be Canadian. I even took playing hockey, so that to tell you how. So
hockey sounds like hooky, which means you're skipping out on something.
No, hockey. That's
hockey.
Yeah, you gotta get used to my accent. I haven't gotten used to my accent yet. So
that's pretty awesome.
I did my my citizenship, etc., my permanent residence, and then eventually I'm eligible to get my passport, right? So here I am. I owned Splendido at the time, busy guy. At the time I was also very narcissistic, and you have to be when you're young.
25.
You feel that you're the shit. And really, when you're 26 and 27, you should feel that way. It's part of identity. And then you change. You realize that you're not that special. There's millions other people doing exactly what you're doing. And so they called me to go to the ceremony to get the passport, and you have to do the oath to the Queen for a French guy. That's another challenge. But anyway, so I got there in my suit, my nice scarf, my Globe and Mail, and here I am waiting for things to happen, right? So I'm reading my papers, I'm checking my phone, and I'm kind of like, okay guys, let's get that thing on the road, right? Like, let's get moving. And all of a sudden, the room starts filling up, right? And as the room is filling up, I realize that everybody is there with their families, right? Wives, husbands, father, kids. And I'm the only moron in a suit, alone, just me and the Globe and Mail, right? So I'm starting to feel like, what's going to happen here? And then it just struck me. I realized that for me to become a Canadian citizen was just a formality. I was coming from a country that offered all the same things, health benefits,
probably a little bit more
safe living, opportunities,
education,
anything on the checklist that you want out of a country. France and Canada are very similar, in terms of socially what you get out of the country. You still pay a lot of taxes, but you get a lot, right?
We do.
So I look around, and all those people, it was not the same situation here. Those people had to fight to be here. They had to fight to be here, and they celebrated probably after their birth and their death, probably one of the greatest moments in their lives, right? And all of a sudden, I started being tear-eyed and like, oh my God, what am I doing? So I'm calling my wife now. I say, Chris, are you home? And it's like, yes, do you want to come? And Chris is like, what are you talking about? I say, Chris, it's amazing what's going on here. Becoming a Canadian, citizen is actually way more than I think it is, right? So after that, I think I became a little bit more appreciative for what Canada was offering to me. And probably, I was younger. I think that, you're entitled when you're young. You don't really realize what that you're just a small part of that entire, universe around you.
Yeah.
And I just felt like, hey, come on, man, you should give me, I'm entitled to that Canadian passport. Why not, right? And it's quite the opposite. When you look at, with all those Syrian people that have arrived in Toronto, I read the other day, one of the guy there, they had a kid and they named it Justin.
Justin
Isn't
Trudeau,
that amazing?
Yeah.
To show you, how dramatic of an experience, of a change and an opportunity those people are getting. And I just took it for granted. Now I'm going to have 2 passports. I'm going to decide when I book my flight, where I use my French or if I fly to the States, I'll use my Canadian passport.
Yeah,
sure.
So that was it for me. The life wasn't changing. My life wasn't changing. And funny enough, that day it actually changed my entire appreciation for being Canadian, and I love it. I cherish it. I don't take away what my French heritage is, and I can very easily live with both identities. So what were we talking about? Sorry,
yeah, it's good. Well, we're gonna have to bring you back on.
Okay, so
there's a lot more to talk about. Well, we gotta plug you in.
Okay.
Well, I was thinking, what a great way to end an hour.
Yeah.
An hour just like that.
Yeah. Oh, we're over an hour.
I have lots to talk about. So whatever you guys want.
We gotta bring you back.
Yeah, bring me back.
We gotta for sure bring you back. There's a lot that we didn't get to talk about.
Yeah, Maison Patina. We haven't spoken about Maison Patina.
Yeah.
So Maison Patina is a great concept that we created when we first opened Loading. There's a big demand for customized coloring on shoes, and we had an artist.
Yeah.
So Patina. Yeah. Again, that accent.
Maison Patina.
You think it was Maison Poutine?
Maison Poutine. That could.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, there
I'll
we
take
go.
10% right now.
You'll take 10% right now? On naming rights?
Yeah.
On naming rights?
Yes.
There we go. Maison
all around. It's all around. Just give me a check, 10%
whoever's listening there, guys, if you open Maison Poutine, you gotta invite us, okay? The 3 of us.
We're in.
Steve, Chad, and I are coming for a night of celebration, and it's on you, people.
Yes.
It's on you.
100%.
Maison Poutine, there we go.
So
Maison Patina.
Yeah.
So Maison Patina, yeah. So we had our artist in Toulouse that was doing those great shoes, and it started picking up to the point that it didn't really make sense. We would get the orders here in Canada. We had to send to ship the shoes down, and then you had to work on them a couple of weeks or 3 weeks, and then we had to send them back. And it's just So we asked Emmanuel, are you interested in moving to Canada? And sure, yeah, Canada. It sounds like a great.
You just finished explaining how awesome it is being
here. So
no
Emmanuel was really excited about that, and his wife Laurence, who happened to be a pastry chef, who now works in the Carbon Bar.
No way.
Yeah.
She's downstairs?
Yeah, she's downstairs.
Way.
Yeah,
Okay.
She works in the pastry. She's our pastry chef. But anyway, yeah, we'd love to move there, and their young daughter Mathilde was 16 years of age, so changing culture, and so they said yes. So we created Maison Patina. Basically, it's an offspring of what we were doing at Loading, but now we're doing leather goods, bags, and passport covers. So it's basically we get everything handmade here in Canada. All the leather goods are handmade, and then Manu with his process of patina. So it's basically a process of dyeing leather, creates amazing, absolutely outstanding colors, and you can check that out. MaisonPatina.com.
Yeah.
It's just gorgeous what they're doing there.
I always talk to them. I send them messages a lot just to keep up on the maintenance of their shoes.
I think you got a few pairs, right? That's what we did for you. Yeah. What colors did you go to? I don't remember.
So I got that maroon gold.
Yep.
And then a black pair, black blackish gray.
Oh, the
black,
gun
metal.
Gun metal, yeah, we call it gun metal, yeah.
And then he did an off brown for me as well.
Wonderful.
All those are clutch colors, actually.
All clutch.
Yeah, I could
and they
have,
go good with everything that I wear.
I could have 50 shades of brown. I love my shoes brown. 50 shades of brown. Yeah, I just love brown shoes. Yeah.
I'm monochroming myself.
Monochrome.
Yeah. I just love brown shoes, and matching belt.
Yeah, for sure.
Matching belt.
That's it.
Yeah. So that's what we do at Maison Patina. It's been a lot of fun. Again, you know what? You start something and you see it flourishing, and you see, it's exciting to see people embracing something and making it their own, right? And that's that whole process that's exciting to see people just, you have that talent. I think everybody has a certain talent, right?
Yeah.
Some is in sport. I'll never run 100 meters, under 15 seconds, right? Maybe 15 actually would be
you
very
probably should be able
different.
to do 15 seconds.
Right? But the guy that runs that under 10 seconds will never probably be able to do what Emmanuel is doing when he's in those shoes. So I think, I really believe that we all have that talent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
you gotta find it, that's all.
Sometimes we find it, sometimes you never do.
Yeah.
But what I find really exciting is to see all those people around me and they have talent and they use it and they just go into it and that
they all have one thing in common, you.
No, I think no.
Well, you need to take credit for something.
I know
you're Canadian humble now, eh?
Yeah.
The French usually take Ionis and French and British.
I'd like to give you guys credit for making me a better person, but I think two things have made me a better person.
No, you just reversed it on us again.
Yeah,
no. One is my wife. She's definitely made me. You two guys wouldn't have made me a better person. I know that. No, I know that for a fact.
All right.
So my wife has made me a better person. She made me understand that family and friends and are the things that really matter, and she's amazing at that. And then time is making me a better person.
Aging with elegance too.
I don't know if I'm aging with elegance, but I hope I'm getting smarter and definitely more humble.
Do you see your father in yourself now? As much as we all try to say it's never going to happen.
No, but of course you see your parents in yourself, and sometimes you...
Well, their work ethic they had, clearly.
Yeah, they were really hardworking people, that's for sure, and so of course you see some of your parents, parts that you love, parts that you hate, and I'm sure that one day my kids will say, oh my God, I'm so much like that,
I never want to be
and
like
I hope
that.
Maybe they'll say, oh my God, I got that from dad or from mom, and that's kind of cool, right? That's your DNA after all, right?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
So
that's one of the good things about you were saying, getting older, is that
I
coming into your own.
I think I made pace with my years of wanting to conquer the world and thinking that I was actually probably smarter than a lot of people. You just realize that you're not. You're just like another part of that, as I said, that great universe. And I'm not philosophical by any means. I think I'm just realizing that we all have a place. Just try to be honest and do the things that excites you, and you'll be okay. When I was 27, 26, I'm telling you, I used to say when people would go to Splendido, and the GM that we had there for a long time, Carlo, would laugh at that if he hears that. I used to say, I want the patrons, when they come, I want them to sweat. It's going to be so crazy, the experience. I want them to sweat. Like, we had a champagne trolley, and this is a true story. So that's 2002, 2003, right? So it's 20 years ago now? No, 15 years ago. 15 years ago.
You do have an account, right?
Pardon me?
You do have an account?
Oh God, yeah. and he's very good at keeping track of everything. So we had a champagne trolley. So people would walk in, and the first thing you see, you had a bare tablecloth. That's all that was on the table. Yeah. And we would bring 2 glasses of champagne. We don't ask you 2 empty glasses, and this is how we would start. Welcome at Splendido. Here we have a tradition. This is our champagne trolley. And tonight we have a pam 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 pam. And we will give the selection. And the first thing you do, you have a glass of champagne, $35 or $40. And people, right at that moment, they knew they were in control. And now that's why I used to say I want them to sweat. I want them to realize that something extraordinary is about to happen, right?
That's true, right?
And then you set the mood and everything after that. We had cards. When it was your birthday, we had cards signed by the chef, signed by Maître D, personalized to your name. We had a stool purse. like a purse that was designed. We had a leather guy that had done that with a metal frame just for the lady's purse, right? It was amazing. Yeah. So it was fantastic. Yeah, it was fun.
Good memories, eh?
Yeah, for
Too
sure.
bad they can't see the size of your smile right now.
Yeah,
Or is it a
I-
grin?
Yeah, you know what?
It's a grin. It's both.
I think
It's a humbling.
Yeah, I think we don't take the time sometimes to reflect on you know, on what we've done, and that's
It's true.
actually. I'm glad
true.
we're having that chat because
Yeah.
you know, it's very rare that people just ask me, says, "Okay, Yannick, let's talk about the things that."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good
Yeah.
memories of something you've
For
worked.
sure.
You were working your ass off back then.
Yeah, now it's easy, I guess.
Yeah, you look
Perfect.
back and just say,
Yeah.
There it is.
fuck, I did that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm telling you, the first 6 months of my life, not my life, but the first 6 months of Splendido, as I said, my wife paid rent for 6 months. She bought us our first TV, and she bought us our first real bed. I upgraded to a real bed from an IKEA futon.
Yeah,
Yes,
futon.
absolutely.
Classic.
Yeah, so it's
You know you're a grown up when you make that.
Sure.
yeah, you know what? It's a big one.
Ooh, it's a big relationship. It's
Yeah.
getting
You know,
serious.
you
We've got
feel
real
like,
futon.
you feel like you've accomplished.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Your frame with it too?
yeah, there was a frame, you know, the foldable one, so
Yeah.
you fold into a canopy there or whatever.
Yeah.
And listen, okay, I'm not. We used to hang out a lot at IKEA when I was a single guy. Best place
Yeah.
to meet newcomers in the city. Think about it.
What's that?
Best
Yeah,
place
you're right.
to meet the new people in the city.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. We
I didn't think about that.
We used to go and buy picture frames a lot on Sundays with my buddy
Just
Rory.
walk up and
Yeah.
down the aisles there?
A long time, a long time ago.
Hilarious.
Another galaxy.
All right, well,
Awesome.
listen, we should
Yeah.
wrap this up.
Yeah. We got
Well
some.
over an hour.
We got some.
An hour and 20. We
Beef
don't wanna have
brisket
to edit
downstairs
anything
sitting down there. Yeah. Well.
That was awesome, guys. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk about myself. I don't get that too often, and
It's
anyway,
like a kitchen party. You
my
just
wife
sit around
is
and talk
tired of
shit.
listening to me,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that was awesome.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your so the handles at goal? You got a lot of handles. I
Okay,
can do one of two things. I can write them all down.
Yeah.
So I got them all basically because you have a lot of handles.
Yeah.
But what are the top
I think
ones?
we-
Give us your top
yeah,
ones.
I think that at the Carbon Bar, at Union Chicken, at Amano, the
Yeah.
new Italian restaurant, at Loading Toronto, at Maison Patina, and at Carve Collective. There we go. I
And
think-
Union.
So do you have
Say
a
Union
personal
already?
one?
Did you-
What did
Union
you-
Chicken, you already said
You did?
Union
Okay,
Chicken.
yeah.
Union Chicken. Do you have a personal one?
Yes, I do. It's at Yan_KRV.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably the most boring one. It's
No, but if they wanted to reach out to you directly because they had a great idea to open up something and
yeah,
they
that
wanted to
Maison
run it by you.
Poutine there. Like I
probably some
think
young
we were
chef
onto
out
something there.
Yeah.
I think we were onto something. I love poutine too.
House of Poutine.
Yeah, House of Poutine. Yeah.
Maison.
No, we should call it La Maison.
La
Yeah.
Maison de Poutine.
Yeah,
You need
no,
a
no,
French.
yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
We're gonna
But it
get
works.
Turkey curds or
It
chewy curds?
Yeah, no,
You gotta get the Quebec ones. You gotta
Yeah,
go
the
to
real.
Quebec.
Yeah, no, you go to Quebec for that.
And you gotta get and we gotta use something close to Saint Hubert for the gravy.
No.
But a hybrid of it. I'm telling you, Saint Hubert is the best.
I'm Steve Mealing.
And I'm Chad Cranston.
And our guest this week was Yannick.
Thank you.
Last name? How do you
Yannick
pronounce it?
Bigaudin.
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 And this is the City Podcast.
Thanks for
and,
tuning in.
Yeah, we're out. Hey, listen, everybody. C. Cranston at thecitypodcast.ca. S. Mealing at thecitypodcast.ca. It's been a long day.
Drinking yet?
Not yet.
No.
I can't wait to have a bourbon downstairs, though.
Time for Black Mamba.
Yeah. And at the City
YouTube.
Podcast.
YouTube.
And we're all good. We're out. See ya.
Can't believe